This tutorial video is called Solving One-Step Equations. Solving one-step equations. And this is very, very important for algebra, and we're going to build on it, and you're going to watch solving two-step equations in a second. The big thing you need to know is something called an inverse operation. That sounds very fancy, right? Inverse operation. All you need to know is that inverse means the opposite. So when I tell you to do the inverse, I just want you to do the opposite. So some examples are the opposite of multiplying is dividing, and the opposite of dividing is multiplying. The opposite of adding is subtracting, and the opposite of subtracting is adding. Okay? So it's pretty simple. I want you to go ahead and write down this problem here. Number 1, n minus 12 equals negative 2. You might be able to figure out in your head, but I'm going to go show you the actual steps, because when you get fractions and decimals, it's very difficult. Now, I'm going to give you 2 steps to do this stuff. I know it says 1 step, but the first step's really easy. And I want you to write this down. The first thing I want you to do, always, is I want you to draw a line down your equal sign. That always happens. Always. Okay, make sure you write that down. First thing that you do is draw a line down the equal sign. The second thing you do is the opposite of what's with the letter. So let me explain what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out what n equals. Well, do you see how it says n and then all this stuff and then equals? So we need to get rid of this and move it to the other side. That way n's by itself. You're trying to get this by itself. Well, the only way to do that is the opposite. So the opposite of subtracting 12 is adding 12. And if you do it on one side, you must do it on the other. In your notes, put a little star. If you do it on one side, you must do it on the other. And if you're wondering what sides are, you drew that line to show you what the different sides are. Okay? Now, negative 12, positive 12, they kind of cancel out. They're opposites, they cancel out, they go away. Your n is still there, so you just bring it down. N equals. And then all you do in your calculator is, what is negative 2 plus 12? Well, I know this in my head, but in your calculator, you go ahead and do it, and it's a positive 10. So positive 10. And then we box our answer up. N equals 10. Now, you can go ahead and check this if you go back here. N minus 12. Do that in your calculator. 10 minus 12 equals negative 2. So it works. Alright, that's the first one. Second one. C plus 11 equals 2. Write it down and always draw your line. Okay? So I want to get C by itself. I have this plus 11. So the opposite of adding 11 is subtracting 11. And I have to do it on both sides. Subtract 11. So this goes away. I still have C equals, the C just comes from here, brought it down, 2 minus 11. So you do your calculator, do 2 minus 11, and you come up with negative 9. Negative 9. Boop. And that's the right answer. You can always check it. So go back to your calculator and do negative 9 plus 11, and you'll come up with 2. Same thing. Let's do our third example. 6x equals 24. Now, you may be able to figure this out on your own, but we're going to do it together, and we're going to draw a line. Okay? I want to get x by itself, so here it's with the 6. So what is the opposite? Okay, well, hang on. Side by side means multiplied. If you don't know that, write that down. Side by side means multiplied. So right now, this is 6 times x. And you're going to say, what's the opposite of multiplying? Is dividing. So we're going to divide everything by 6. Do not use this symbol to mean divide. Okay, well, I guess for you guys it would be the other way, like this. Don't use that symbol for divide. Use a line like a fraction bar. Okay? These go away. We have an x here. Equals. In your calculator, you do negative 24 divided by 6, and you come up with negative 4. Box it up. And in your calculator, put that in. 6 times negative 4, and it should equal negative 24. And that's your answer. Alright, number 4. B divided by 7 equals negative 3. Draw our line. What is the opposite of dividing by 7? And you're going to say multiplying by 7. So we're going to multiply everything by 7. Those go away. I'm left with B equals. In your calculator, do negative 3 times 7, and you'll end up with negative 21. That's your answer. You can check it, because you can do negative 21 divided by 7, and it'll give you a negative 3. Just 2 more examples real quick, but they're very important. What if the number is in front? Okay, what if the number is in front? Well, we still want to get c by itself, so we want to get rid of this. Well, if there's no sign in front of it, you're not multiplying or dividing, here's what you're going to do. Right now, that's just a positive 6. So what is the opposite of a positive 6? Well, you're going to say negative 6. So we're going to do negative 6. Those go away. So my c is still here. When you put this in the calculator, don't do 20 negative 6. If it's in the middle, it's minus. So 20 minus 6, and you'll end up with 14. That's your answer. And then you should know that 6 plus 14 does equal 20. Alright, here's what I want to warn you about real quick. I'm going to go back up to the 4th problem real quick. We have 6's here. You're going to confuse yourself. You're going to try to say the opposite of dividing or multiplying by 6 is dividing by negative 6. And you're going to try to confuse that. Don't do that. Do not change the signs unless there's nothing else with it. You're not multiplying or dividing. And then the opposite of a positive is a negative. Okay? Let's do one more. 12x equals 6. We draw our line. In your head, what is the opposite of multiplying? Because side by side means multiplied. And you're going to say dividing. Dividing. X equals. In your calculator, you're going to do 6 divided by 12, and you're going to get 0.5. Or you could also go math enter and get 1/2. Both are correct answers. Okay? If you get a repeating decimal, I want you to make it into a fraction. And then isn't 12 or a half of 12 6? I'm going to say yeah. So we box our answer up. Please stop me if this is very confusing. The Khan Academy module you're going to do is one-step equations. And it's pretty much a lot of multiplying and dividing. It's not really a lot of the adding and subtracting. So that's the module I want you to do first. I want you to do that module before you watch the next video. If you have any questions, let me know.